So now you're probably wondering, what the heck am I doing with some wood out here, and what is this piece of wood? Am I gonna really lift a car with that? Again, not the best idea, but I'm doing this because you guys wanted a demonstration of what it can lift, and I think this is going to be right at the limit for this machine. So let's find out how this goes. Let me set up the camera and show you guys. Hey guys, this is Nate, and this is the Nader Tater channel. Today we're going to do a video about the Toolcat and how much it can lift. I've had some commenters that wanted to understand or see it in action. So today's episode I'm going to call Rock, Paper, Spark. And the reason I'm calling it that is because I'm going to show you it picking up a heavy hunk of granite, rock, a boulder, and then I'm going to show it picking up a large tree log, and I'll give you some estimated weights for those. But you know, the real problem with those, I don't know exactly how much they weigh. I'm going to do a rough density calculation and how much volume, and I'll give you a weight. But one commenter specifically wanted to know, could it pick up about 2,300 pounds of an IBC tote, I think carrying waste oil. Well, I don't have an IBC tote, and so I got thinking, what do I have that weighs about 2,000 to 3,000 pounds that I can pick up with a Toolcat? Well, it's my Chevy Spark. So that weighs about 2,300 pounds. So I'm going to show you if it can pick it up. I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some little jerry rigging to figure out how to get it to pick it up. But what I will say is I've enjoyed my Toolcat a lot, and it's rated for 1,500 pounds. And the way they rate the Toolcat is the same way they rate a skid steer, and that's basically half of its tipping weight. So at 3,000 pounds, the back end will come up and it will tip over. That's also where the hydraulics max out on the Toolcat. On skid steers that I've had in the past, you can actually keep going. The hydraulics are more powerful than the tipping of the machine. That's where they have, like, you know, extra weight ballast on the back, and so you can do the same thing obviously on the Toolcat. The only difference is I found the boom hydraulics are basically maxed out at 3,000 pounds. And the note there is, some people forget 3,000 pounds is not the same as 3,000 pounds in a different location. So 3,000 pounds, it's really up close to the quick attach plate. So whether you have pallet forks on there, you have a grapple, a bucket, whatever it is, that weight needs to be close. If that weight is sticking out, then obviously it's a bigger lever arm and it's harder to lift. So that's the problem with my Spark, is that it's going to be further out. But we'll get to that. First, I want to show you some easier things that I've done all the time, and specifically my brush cutter. So my brush cutter is an MTL attachment. It's you know, they call it a 60 or 68 wide, and 68 inches wide is how wide the it is, but 60 inches how long it, or how much it cuts. So that weighs right at 1,500 pounds. So that is technically the perfect thing for rated operating capacity of this. So let me hook that up real fast and show you how that works. I use it all the time. Alright guys, so there's the brush cutter up there. You can see it lifts it up, no problem, all the way up to the sky, to the max of its lift capability. And I can cut around without any kind of counterweight. And it gets a little bit light on the back end, you know, if you're going down a hill, but it's perfectly workable to use that with no counterweight and drive around with it. But let me go pick up some heavier things to show you how it does. All right, guys, now I got my grapple on there, and this is you know, good for grabbing rocks and wood and mulch, all kinds of stuff, as well as digging up roots and whatnot. So that's what I use for rocks and trees. That's what I'm going to show you next. Remember, it's rock, paper, which is a tree, and then spark. All right, we got a couple deer watching me out there on the far side, but we got my toolcat, got the grapple on. Now I have a couple rocks, and I move these here. So spoiler alert, I know I can move them. And so this one is a piece of granite, and I'm going to show you. It's roughly, sorry, I get my tape measure out here. It's about 29, and then I think I put 26 this way because it's a little bit of an angle, and then I put it at about 20 inches tall for average, you know, trying to make a rectangular cube out of it for some simple math. And so when I did that math, and then you look up the granite density at about 2.7 grams pure cubic centimeters, converting it over, this actually weighs right around 1,500 to 1,600 pounds, maybe a little bit more. And then I have another smaller one beside it. So together, they're pretty substantial, and it can pick up both of them, but I don't like doing it because the toolcat only has the center beam for the loader arm. So I'm going to grab just this middle one and pick it up with this guy and show you how it does that. Alright, there we go. That was pretty easy. You can see that grapple is really nice for grabbing the rock. I don't actually have to get all the way underneath it. I can kind of grab it with like my fingers and pick it up. So that's really nice. And let me go show you some paper, our big log. Alright, so now I'm in the toolcat. We're heading down the trails, and we're here to get a big log. Now this thing has suspension. It only has a couple inches of travel, but it certainly rides a lot better than a skid steer does, especially if I'm going 10, 12 miles per hour here on the trails, bouncing over rocks and stumps and stuff. But it's not as good as a Ranger or whatnot. Alright, here's our log. So let me get it out of here. this is the paper. So this is a log, and obviously it got cut. Now it's obviously pretty big. I don't even know exactly how long this thing is. It's not short, but see if I can get a measurement for you. All right, so that's 25 feet, so it looks like it's about 27 feet long. And then diameter wise, looks like, you know, it probably averages around over a foot, so probably 13 or 14 inches is the average. It's pretty straight. So this is a I don't even know what species it looks like. Let's see, maybe it's oak, I don't know. But so it's a hardwood, so let me do a quick calc on how much it weighs, and I'll throw that up on the screen. To save daylight, I'm gonna go ahead and lift it for you guys and show you what it can do. But it certainly surprises a lot of my neighbors. I had a whole stack of these wood out here because a pipeline came through and cleared out a bunch of my old hardwoods. But I'm able to pick these up and stack them up on the trailers for people when I sold them. So let's just see how big this thing is and how it lifts it up. Alright, there you have it. So it can do that log without a problem. I can drive around with it all the way high. Doesn't tip over, no counterweight. So that's rock, paper, and now we got Spark. So let's check it out. Alright, so now I'm at the Spark. So the Spark weighs 2,300 pounds, give or take. Now this is a 2018 Chevy Spark. Just a disclaimer, I do work for GM. But I bought this car. This is my personal car. It's actually not registered at all, and it has 530 miles on it. I use it as a property mobile instead of like a little Ranger or something like that. It's actually cheaper. It's heated, air conditioned, has Android Auto, backup cam, all that kind of good stuff. Anyways, for this, what it was one of my watchers commented on my video and said, hey, I have a need to lift an IBC tote, which is those, you know, they're typically used for liquids, and they're kind of this plastic container, and then they have that metal kind of grid, and they're on kind of a pallet base. They typically weigh about 2,300 pounds, and my commenter said, hey, I want to see it lift something like that. So I got thinking, what do I have that I know the weight of that I can lift and show them? The car, I know how much it weighs. The downside to it is it's not the right or ideal shape to lift. Also, I might damage it. So this might even be a better video than you were bargaining for. So the challenge with it obviously is that the center of mass is far away, and obviously when you rate something like a skid steer, the weight is really expected up against close to the Bobcat quick attach, not way out in front. So this one, the center of gravity is going to be about 3 feet forward from the pallet jack, or sorry, the pallet fork backside. So that's not ideal. So now you're probably wondering, what the heck am I doing with some wood out here, and what is this piece of wood? Am I going to really lift a car with that? So I am an engineer. I'm maybe not the smartest, and I don't recommend this, but what I'm using is my pallet forks. They're 42 inches long. The center weight, like I said, is about 3 feet long, but I need to grab some of the structural member of the underbody, and it's actually right at the tip of the pallet fork. So I'm using this wood and this tabletop here. This is MDF tabletop to basically position my wood, but the weight is actually over the metal tip, but just barely. And so I needed something to space these 2x4s the right distance and not have them fall off a pallet fork. So this is what I came up with. Again, not the best idea, but I'm doing this because you guys wanted a demonstration of what it can lift, and I think this is going to be right at the limit for this machine. So let's find out how this goes. Let me set up the camera and show you guys. All right guys, there you go. It just lifted a Chevy Spark. That's about right at the limit. The back end's very tippy as I moved forward. I could tell that my rear had very little weight. Obviously I did all of this stuff with no counterweight. So this is just a Toolcat 5600 by itself. And I have no weight in the bed and no weight back here on the hitch or something. Obviously if you add weight to the bed, that will allow you to move stuff like this easier. I have no intentions of driving around with my Spark dangling off a wooden supported platform. So I did this just for a demonstration, but this just shows you that it does do it. And let me get this set up so I can show you underneath here. Nope. So there's no damage. No damage underneath to little Sparky here. He's good to go, and I didn't damage any of the door or anything, which I was a little bit worried about. You know, that's one definite bad side in cases like this. I really notice it, and that is the radius on this lift arm is so short compared to something like a skid steer where the arm goes all the way back to the back of the machine. When I lift up, I'm getting closer to the Spark. So as I go up right against the Spark and then I lift, I have to be further away than I would think, because when I lift to actually engage the Spark, those pallet forks get closer to the door, and I don't want to ding up this door. Sorry, Dad, I know you want to buy the Spark, but guess what? I didn't hurt it, so you can still buy it from me. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate all the viewers. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more stuff like this. Also, if you think I'm a complete idiot and I did this wrong and your machine could have done it better, or you could have done it better, feel free to write it in the comments. Let me know. Tell me what your thoughts are on how you do it or what you would lift if you had a Toolcat. Thanks, guys.